Welcome to the Task-Based Language Teaching channel and a talk on task-based language teaching and technology. My name is Marta González Lloret, and I am a professor of applied linguistics at the University of Hawaii, Manoa. Today, I would like to talk to you about technology-mediated TBLT or TMBLT. And I want to do this because I believe we are at a crucial point for language learning, especially in the United States, where if we are not actually careful, we may soon become extinct. So my question today is, can TMBLT help save language programs in higher education? Before I continue, I need to define what I mean by TMTBLT. And in this context, technology-mediated TBLT refers to a strong task-based methodology that fully integrates technology at all levels of the curriculum. The needs analysis, development of pedagogical tasks, the implementation of those tasks, of course, language assessment of the learners, and also an evaluation of the program. In August 2024, West Virginia University closed all its foreign language programs and then decided to retain Spanish and Chinese under pressure. This administrative move was seen as a threat to language programs all over the United States, especially after the the Chronicle of Higher Education alarming report in 2019 of the cut of 651 programs. These had also followed news from the Pew Research Center in 2017, showed that only 20% of K-12 students actually were studying another language. And the MLA report in 2022 that showed that only 7% of university students learn another language, and that number has actually decreased by 15% from 2016. Other sources like Newslet in 2022 shows that decline is even larger at 23%. So as language teaching practitioners, we need to ask ourselves, why is the interest in learning another language decreasing in a globalized world where communications are more than ever intercultural? A world that requires us to work, commerce, make friends, and enjoy pastimes in other languages. In a study conducted by Preplay in 2023, 1,000 foreign language learners were asked why they had stopped learning a language. 30% said that they did not continue because they had fulfilled the educational requirement for language. We can do math with that. But 21% said that they had to stop because they did not have opportunities for practicing. 14% because they did not have, 14% didn't feel it was useful for their lives. 12% said it became too difficult, and 10% just got bored and stopped learning. I will make the point in this talk that TMTBLT can help remedy some of these issues. We have to be realistic, and we know that learning a foreign language is difficult and takes time. You cannot learn a new language in a month. It doesn't matter what advertisement says. Unfortunately, most of L2 language is done in a classroom with many limitations. Most programs do not dedicate enough time to acquire enough language, and students become dissatisfied. In addition, many programs all over the world, including here in the United States, still teach foreign languages with old-fashioned methodologies that are disconnected with real uses of the language. This makes the learning quite irrelevant and, of course, produces the motivation. Rest of this talk, I hope to convince you that TMTBLT can be a way these issues can excite the students to learn a foreign language, and hopefully use practical, relevant, and tasks that are connected to the real world and also with the added benefit of helping students acquire important digital skills. TMBLT is based on a philosophy of experiential learning, and therefore, language is learned by doing things with the language. TMTBLT focuses on meaning, even if there is a pre-planned language learning goal. Part of the learning must be incidental, and any particular language focus is hidden from learners. That is, it's implicit. TMTBLT is goal-oriented. Task must have some communicative purpose outside of the activity, and also some outcome that can be communicative and non-communicative, like booking a flight or buying something. One of the main tenets of task-based language teaching is that the language and the tasks need to be as authentic as possible. The idea is to engage students in real-world interaction with real people. TMTBLT is learner-centered, and learners' needs and wants must be addressed some type of needs analysis. And learners should also be allowed to use their linguistic and non-linguistic resources, which also helps flexibility and individualized learning. I know that some of you think that individualized learning is impossible in classes of 20, 30, or 50 students, but technology is actually a great help here. And finally, TMTBLT, through self-reflection, allows students opportunities to develop their reflexive, higher-order learning, as well as develop critical thinking skills, which are essential in our informated, saturated world. TMTBLT facilitates the use of real, authentic online text, as well as engagement with other speakers of the language in different digital spaces. And this promotes development of intercultural and critical digital literacies through the L2 by doing things in the L2. Through TMTBLT, learners can develop digital literacy skills such as learning how to search and choose from the enormous amount of information, being able to interrogate and evaluate data and content to distinguish the true from the fake, and to understand the data is always filtered by the search engines we use, and that much of the content we encounter on the internet has been designed to take control over our attention and our resources. Students can also learn how to present themselves in digital context and build their L2 identity. Today, privacy means something very different from years ago, especially to young people. But they need to feel comfortable with what the world sees of them and establish their own term of trust and creepiness in their L2. They can also learn to understand the socio-pragmatic norms of digital communication. Many of speakers have their norms and their etiquette, their cultural elements, their symbols, and learners need to understand these to fully participate in those communities. And most importantly, they need to develop intercultural communicative competence to critically interpret and accept other cultures. These are essential literacies for any citizen of a globalized world today, and surprisingly, many people don't have them. A Pew Research study in September with more than 5,000 adults in the US found that 60% of them do not understand what companies are doing with their data. And 73% of them felt that they did not have any control over the data they are sharing. This is really serious and worrisome. But we have a great opportunity here to educate our students in our language classrooms, and I firmly believe that TMTBLT can help. There are a lot of technologies that can be used and can be incorporated in a TMTBLT lesson. These are some that have been researched and shown to be effective for language. A task such as preparing a trip to country X in the target language, Could involve accessing internet content. Students could look country and shop for adequate clothing to travel there. Learners can visit YouTube, Reddit, or other online communities to find more about traveling to that place. They can join a public Facebook page of the country to learn more and ask questions to other users. They can ask questions about culture, its people, places to visit. They can play a game to see how many facts they know about the city and its culture. If the technology is available in the context, they could do a visit or a tour of the visit of the city using virtual reality to familiarize themselves with the city. And they can engage in virtual spaces with the speakers of that country to, for example, complete an itinerary. We don't have to use them all for one task, although it is possible. But the idea is to choose the technology that best fits our task. In summary, technology-mediated task-based language teaching can make language learning relevant for students, addressing their needs and their wants. It provides authentic, real-life tasks with useful language that actually engage speakers with other speakers of the target language, that engages the students with the speakers of the target language, which also have application language classroom. TMTBLT includes pedagogic tasks which help scaffold learning. This way, learning the language is challenging but not overwhelming, which, by the way, is how games maintain us on tasks for hours. Within TMTBLT, the language classroom can become an excellent place to develop important critical digital literacies and intercultural competence. And hopefully, learning language can be seen as something useful, relevant, and desirable. We need to remember that technology is not neutral. It is not only mediated, it not only mediates the language, but it also mediates the thought. The mere introduction of technology in a TBLT curriculum brings a set of new tasks that need to be integrated. With the use of technology in classroom comes responsibility, and we need to be aware of the digital divide. We want to close it, not to make it larger. We should only include technologies and tasks that all students can do, therefore making it inclusive. It is very important to remember that the task determines the technology and not the other way around. It is easy to get carried by new shiny technology, but without a strong methodological base, they're probably going to be useless. Teachers need time and support to explore innovation and develop materials. My advice is to work collaboratively and start small. Start with 1 or 2 tasks and then incorporate 1 or 2 more each semester. Finally, you are not alone in this journey. The TBLT and the call communities are both very welcoming. The Task Journal and the John Benjamin's book series are great places to learn more about TBLT, and the Calico and Eurocall communities with their respective journals are also great sources of information. I'm going to do a little bit of self-publicity here and recommend some sources if you want to learn more about it. The John Benjamin TBLT book series is an excellent place to learn more about different aspects of TBLT, and Volume 6 was dedicated to technology-mediated TBLT. The second book guides teachers step by step into how to develop a technology-mediated task curriculum. It's very cheap. The book by Valentina Morgana just came out last year, and it focuses on secondary education. The QRC in your screen has these references and others on the topic. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this video, you may want to watch a following presentation that focuses on how to develop a technology-mediated task-based language teaching lesson. Gracias and mahalo.